All right, so we're gonna watch a couple of videos. First of all, let me hit you with this. I don't know if you saw this. I was gonna put this on today and go through it. Metokur and Kino Casino, Warski, PPP, about Eric July criticizing you and Nick.
Oh, me?
I think he mentions you and Vito. I think so. Are you prepared to deal with this?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Not being prepared is the best way to deal with any of this stuff.
That is true. We got a 23-minute video here. We're going to share it with Dick Masterson. Great to have you on and happy to sandbag you.
It's been a while. I never thought we'd be here after the last time we talked, which was a pretty, genial plugging interview on our show, I thought, and then all hell broke loose.
Hold on a second. Fuck these guys for one second. Sorry, Warski. Warski's up in my DMs all the time trying to start trouble.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
He really doesn't like me.
Really?
Yeah, some stupid debate. It was about cuties, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. We'll find out what these guys have to say. But these guys don't like us, I guess, which is interesting. All right, here we go. And Metokur.
People keep showing. Maybe you guys, because you cover him a lot.
Yeah.
Does he have hepatitis C? What the fuck is going on with his? Like he's like going like yellow spots on his face and gaunt,
and
like that looks like
hair's falling out.
So from what I understand, he's saying that he doesn't eat in a day because he needs to stay thin. He says. So he just drinks a bottle of whiskey a day, and then for food he eats one little packet of Cheetos Crunch, and he has a small Snickers.
Yeah,
and that's.
I don't get
this
that.
guy's basically describing his own personal Holocaust. Somebody going on a diet. It's like, what I understand is he's not eating for at least 2-3 minutes at a time, and I can't imagine that.
It gets to the point where and no offense to this gentleman here, but it gets to the point where you become so large that it's not even a point of conversation anymore. It's like nobody's going to say anything to this guy about being overweight because it's like, what the hell?
It's February and he's wearing a Santa robe, but that's because it's the only thing he has that fits him.
It gets to a point. It gets to a point. You get so large, you form your own center of gravity. You know what I mean? Like you.
Well, that is true
just
too.
A stealth guy. Why would he need to be worried about that?
I don't know, because he's worried about the calories from the alcohol. Because it's like 1,000 calories a day from alcohol. But I honestly don't know why he's doing this to himself.
I think his mind, unfortunately for Nick, he's just fucked. He's a pure alcoholic.
But he shouldn't be. He has a wife, he has kids, he has a lot of money. I think that.
Is it becoming like leaving Las Vegas? That's what it feels like. Because every time I hear or see about him, he looks kind of sicker and sicker. And
what happened? Why did people turn on Nick? He's like the nicest guy in the world. What happened there?
I think because he's the nicest guy in the world.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah, I think that'll get you turned on real quick.
Oh shit! All right.
Keeps telling me he's like,
you're not nice, big bad booty daddy.
This is pretty ruthless what I'm about to say about him, but from what I understand is, and this is my analysis of it, he's really resentful of his family, of his wife and children, because he got married young, he never had an opportunity to sow his wild oats and kind of party and hook up with multiple women. And
I gotta speed you up, bro.
Midlife crisis now, where he's drinking himself to death because he didn't get to sow his wild oats, and he's just engaging in weird activity, like going to that swingers resort called Hedonism 2.
This is
or
projection,
putting a sex toy on his balls called the Baldo.
Yeah. And I thought he'd be super happy because with the Rittenhouse coverage and everything else, he was one of the top streamers. I'm sure he made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
His initial Rumble contract was probably worth a lot of money.
Definitely.
So you're doing really well financially. Your family can enjoy that. You can enjoy that. But he seems just kind of unhappy. It's weird.
It's one of those scenarios where it's like victory has defeated you. Because he's just bored with his life.
PPP knows all about that. Victory defeating you.
Or this, he was saying his favorite movie was American Beauty because he related to the main character in that, feeling trapped in that American suburbia lifestyle.
You're supposed to.
The reason that he died in that movie or had to die was because he didn't go through with fucking the underage girl. And when he was talking about American Beauty, it was really, really, really disturbing. And it was.
Well, if you like American Beauty's a good movie. If you like that movie, why isn't he smoking pot instead of drinking that?
I don't know. I said to him, I said this a while. I was
Metokur sounds good,
just
man.
Smoke pot. It's a lot healthier for him.
Metokur sounds healthy.
I'm gonna say this. Look,
you got him sped up.
Alcohol. If you're an alcoholic, which I was, I'm 94 days fully sober off every little thing, like cigarettes,
94
alcohol, fucking
days.
weed, everything.
That's like the
When I
sweet
was drinking
spot
every day,
on
even though it was only 3
intervention.
beers,
They relapsed
it
100
fucks with
days
my mind.
later.
It adds like depression. It makes you adds anxiety, this, that. And that was just from 3-4 beers a day for like 3
I
years.
think part of it
He
too
drinks
with
a
him.
bottle of whiskey a day.
I think part of it is a stubbornness as well, because he is like a really smart guy and he doesn't want, other people to tell him what to do. So with him, he's like, well, fuck you. You're saying that it's bad for me to drink. Well, I'm going to drink to spite you guys on Kiwi Farms and to spite Josh and to prove you wrong. But sometimes, like, the haters or the people on, like, they're right. Like, and when they're right, they're right. And he really
I
just
agree
needs to
about
stop
that.
drinking. I think
That's
is
true.
bottom
The
line.
haters are
He tried
sometimes
to
right.
do it for January, and we were like, oh, he's doing really good. We didn't cover him for like a month. And then what ends up happening is he gets into a hot tub with another couple. So it's Ricada and his wife in a hot tub with a husband and wife, and they're just talking about swinging while getting blackout drunk, and it's all a big joke, but it starts to feel like, is this a joke? Yeah. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, the best way to beat the swinging accusations is to basically start swinging in a hot tub. I don't know what to say.
People?
And then he's like, now every stream, he's got the whiskey glass in his hand again, and it's like, fuck, man, you were doing so good for a month. What the fuck happened? I don't know. It's tough.
I think he should I think he should not care about his weight because he's skinny. What the hell does it matter? And then do like the guy in American Beauty did. Start smoking dope. He seemed really happy.
Yeah.
Eating hamburgers and smoking pot. Go play some video games. Relax. Enjoy your wealth.
Yeah, booze, man. Like, booze is terrible. Like, look, if you drink and you can handle yourself and be responsible, all for it. I'm not preaching here. But he can't handle
No,
he can't handle
that's not good.
If you're doing a bottle a day, that's fucking crazy.
Bro, he counted.
And he brags about that. Like he thinks that it's
70
cool.
bottles or 37 bottles.
He had 37 bottles on hand in his room, but he brags about how he drinks whiskey, like that he downs the whole bottle. Like I would brag in college to my friends about drinking, and it's
something. Did something happen? Like, is there some like horrible thing that happened? Is he alluded to that? That's why he's doing this.
No,
I think it's
didn't he say? But wasn't there a clip where he said he had his worst day ever?
Okay, well, did you hear what happened? So he got catfished by a man.
Oh no, I know about man.
Yes, yeah.
I saw this, man.
That was his worst day ever.
He didn't get catfished. It's not like he. Did you hear about this, Dick?
Yeah, I was on one of the shows where Mandy said their dad died or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to respond to someone posting either a woman or someone posting pictures of as a woman.
What do you do? You just
didn't
kind
get
of
caught chatting with her or anything, sending her anything weird. That's catfish.
He didn't go see her, anything like that. Catfished is like when you get caught sexting, somebody who's pretending to be something that they aren't.
Yeah,
I don't think that
it's
ever happened.
Funny, but I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's that funny. It's kind of funny.
Ammergad's coming to see us at C2E2. Ammergad pretends to be a woman. So
right.
I'm gonna come see you. We're just like, it'll be great to meet you, dude. I mean,
yeah.
like that would be us getting catfished the way Nick got catfished.
Right. I mean, I don't think Nick was thinking he was getting anything out of it, right? It was just somebody who was talking.
All right, enough of this.
Is Andy Warski going to slap the cheeseburgers out of PPP's hand? They're talking about addiction like it's the end of the world, but look at this. He's sitting next to a walking. He's sitting next to a walking heart attack.
No, he's fine. He's fine. He's got a Diet Pepsi right in front of him.
Diet Pepsi.
That's true.
You never see skinny people drinking Diet Pepsi, Shane.
That's the worst is when you see fat people drink diet soda, but they eat everything. They think the diet soda is going to like counteract what they're eating or something. Like
his robe needs suspenders. He's so big. He's
well,
lecturing Nick about drinking.
He keeps having to pull it across him like the fat's just trying to bust out.
It's because he's trying to keep it up with his rotation.
Oh, I feel his pain. All right, look, this is let's skip all the Nick Rekieta stuff. I like Nick Rekieta. I will hear no evil of him. Look, there's a Dick and Veto section here.
Okay.
But this is the first part. Why is Metokur supposed to hate Eric July? I wish I was there. Andy, you keep saying you're going to have me on your show. When Metokur comes on the show and goes, why am I supposed to hate Eric July? That's the time. That's when you're supposed to send me the link, pal. You bring me in there. I'll explain it to him so you don't have to go, I don't know.
Is he supposed to hate him? Is he
No,
getting
you're not
like?
supposed to hate him. You're just supposed to
Gives
think
a
he's a
shit.
nitwit. Like
This is like my dad calling me up. Hey, I heard. Hey, there's this guy Eric July. Why am I supposed to hate him? Fuck off, man. I'm
has
working
nothing to
here.
do
What
with
do
you. No, I mean, no. Why is Metokur supposed to hate him? He's not. Metokur has nothing to do with any of this.
Yeah, I don't
Why
care.
are independent creators and Comicsgate supposed to kind of be suspicious of him and not listen to him? I can answer that question. But no, I don't get invited. Do I, Andy? No.
Explain this to me. I've looked into it. I can't figure this out for me. I'm just going to give you my honest take after reading up on it. Why am I not supposed to like Eric July?
On Kiwi Farm.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to like him. No one cares.
What did Eric July do that I'm supposed to hate him?
Dude, me and Ashton have tried to cover this on the show, and we can't for the life of us.
I think it is. It's like he.
Why? You know what?
You
Everybody
can't
in the
for the
world.
life of you figure out why a guy who threatened to execute Riley for taping $21 to his industrial warehouse, you can't figure, for the life of you, you can't figure out why that's funny. That he had multiple 6-hour live streams threatening to murder a friend, a goofball, a friend of ours whom everybody knows. You can't figure out why that's funny at all. Okay.
It's very confusing, all of this.
I'm so
He
confused.
made like a lot of money from this comic book. And
I don't know,
people
like
are
he made some money and people are just like mad at him for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Like, maybe it's really
like he
weird.
doesn't deserve it because the comic book sucks ass.
Yeah,
and it probably does suck
Well, that's
ass.
true, actually. You got that part right. The comic does suck ass.
It probably does suck ass. That statement set off weeks of tantrums. That's why it's funny, PPP, you imbecile.
You got to see this. Like, this is, again, this is why. Okay, watch this.
Over and over, and then get other people to believe it, right? It's like this whole, well, he can't take criticism thing. It's like, where did that come from?
Where'd it come from?
The way you do it is you go in and warn people, then you get attacked, then they leave. Okay, so remember, good faith, right? Good faith. These are just legit criticisms by the dickhead, by Buster Baxter. Just legitimate criticism. You can't handle criticism. This is what he says. He says the way we talked about this yesterday. He says he jumps off the wall and destroys a brick. That is not something a normal person could do. Batman cannot do that.
Yeah.
He broke his chair.
Splitting the atom, guys. We're splitting the atom here. We split the atom. He's figured it out. Between maybe a fucking ranch vehicle as well as his own personal vehicle, and the nigga's like, well, those trucks are different colors. I was confused. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever read a Spider-Man comic and was like, well, that I remember seeing a truck in the first two panels. Consider it this. Consider it a critique of your critique. How about this? Your critique was dog shit, and I'm just critiquing your critique.
That's weird.
That's it.
Wow.
So everything's fair game.
That's
when I
weird
just
to
say
have a
criticism,
critique of a critique,
right?
though.
So you can't take credit. If you mad that I'm responding to your response or whatever, or whatever,
totally
fucking,
pissed off.
yo, dog, I heard you like responses. However you want to do it, right? Consider it that.
It's a critique of your critique of my critique. Consider that.
I'm critiquing your critique.
If this was 2002 me, I'd be all up in it. But now I move differently.
Can accept that there are people that are not going to like ISOM 1, and there are people that are not going to like ISOM 2. Oh, man, let's hash it out. Let's talk about it. Let's be men. Let's do confrontation.
Oh yeah, then you said you were gonna kill us.
Ain't none of that energy. I'm going around. It's all love and daps. Damn, everybody want to dap, but I'm cool. I'm taking pictures, all everything good. Boy, I open my Twitter. You got motherfuckers calling me all kinds of shit. Shit, I ain't I can accept that. But for some others, they can't. They can't accept that. Well, other people do like it, and that is what makes them fucking mad. So they conflate it, or if anything, maybe it's a projection. Y'all can't handle criticism. Like, oh my God, y'all can't handle criticism. It's basically saying this is what you're telling me. You are a punk bitch. Disrespectful. Why would I listen to a disrespectful fucking peon? You a pussy. You want to throw your hands and hide
there's
them
nothing
behind your
funny
thing,
about
and God forbid
this.
Someone actually, this is like a detective. That shit's trash. You suck. Blah blah blah. Bitch. Like we don't know what his farm is. Want to see this person be better? Like shut the fuck up. You be disrespectful to another man and his business. Certainly like on some like. This is why you keep it probably contained to the internet, and that's wise.
What?
So this is why I believe that you should learn economics. If you don't know anything else, learn anything else, you should learn about economics.
There you go.
Yeah.
It'll help you better understand the world, and it also will help you get less frustrated.
I want to say something I've never said on air.
Yeah.
About this. So Eric had approached me to work on a comic. I didn't know what it was. You know, I didn't know. This was like 3 years ago or something like that. And I told him, you know, what I used to make at Marvel and DC, and I kind of just said I'm busy with my own stuff. And trying to be nice, I said, but if you want me to look over any roughs, look over the book, or any, you know, I'd help you out. And this shit's painful. I've never read the full book because of I'll read a little bit and I'll put it down. You see fucked up shit, stuff that doesn't make sense, whatever. It's just for me in hindsight, this is just like fucking like I wish I
read it. I read it twice. I read both of them twice. How do you think I feel? And then I had to review it. You know, I mean, so
I mean, he didn't want help, like as far as an art director or any type of insight from a comic pro, really, when he went into the book.
It wasn't about that. It's not about making a good comic book. That's the reality.
I mean, obviously, yes, we know that now, but I mean, like, just it's weird to see the aftermath. It's just weird.
Yeah.
What were your guys like? Because that was one of the things that annoyed me right when I got onto that Flashcast stream was how he was basically just really disrespectfully tossing your EVS, tossing your opinion out on that stream. And chat was talking about it too. They're like, why are you just discarding this guy's theme? He's a comic pro. What were your guys' first experiences with like basic criticisms like this? I mean, you talked about getting your art kicked by Marvel, but what was your process of, because you have to go through it, like it stings and then it stings less every time.
When you're a kid and you're immature, you react like Eric, but like Eric is like 30 something. I mean, I don't know how old he actually looks like he's in his 40s now, but you're able to just kind of go, okay, these are valuable criticisms that I'm going to need to make a better product that's going to be bulletproof. Eric doesn't want to do that. Like Eric's attitude is kind of like, well, there are going to be some people who don't like what I do, and they're going to, I guess, stop buying my stuff, and fuck them. Like, really, there's still some people who do. Like, yeah, they're the lowest common denominator is what Eric is hoping will fund his comics moving forward. To me, I want my stuff to be great. I want everyone to acknowledge the greatness of Cyberfrog, and so I sent it to you to criticize. I sent it to several people to read and give me notes. Be honest with me. Tell me what needs to change, what needs to get better, so that the book is bulletproof. And that's what we're looking for. Eric's got a very weird attitude. Like some people don't like it. Maybe it's just not to their taste, but other people do. Those other people aren't even reading it, dude. They're not, nobody's, your friends aren't reading it. You think your fans are reading it? Like nobody's reading it.
Yeah.
So me and Ethan's background in getting into comics is completely different. You right away got in off of Cyberfrog, right? I went to the Joe Kubert Art School like in my early on, like in my early 20s, and 3 years, a bunch of artists, we do our assignments, 10 assignments a week, have to put them up in front of the class, and then the whole class rip it apart one by one. Yeah. And it was 5 days a week.
It's not nice.
For 3 years, just criticism by your peers. You just learn to bathe in it. And every now and then there'll be something you're like, yeah, I'm not going to tell that guy he's right, but yeah, I'm going to take that and I'm going to make it better, And then just trying to get in at Marvel and DC, it was like, well, you suck at drawing cars. It's like, yeah, but are you really buying Spider-Man for the cars? Yeah, these buildings suck. It's like, fuck. And then all of a sudden you start hyper focusing on backgrounds and stuff and getting it just right. Just to get your samples to be like, yeah, I'll take them back to the office. Maybe you'll get something.
But that's you hyper focusing on backgrounds. This is another thing that drives me fucking crazy. The 3D assets thing drives me absolutely insane. And you got Metokur. Oh, fuck it. I got to play this. Hold on. Because I heard Metokur say this. And
Okay.
fucking blow up.
Gosh, I've never read it.
I don't get it. I saw the "I wish you $1 billion" thing from Nick, and then I saw Masterson and Vito going after him, and I watched some Eric July shit where he's on stream talking, and I looked at some of his response videos, and so like he's a black guy that did a successful comic book, and I'm supposed to hate him. Why?
And like Sciver,
is that not enough?
Sciver will do like streams where he like dissects every cat.
That's it. That's all.
What are you talking about, Jim? Come on.
And like, okay, fine. I haven't read it. People state that it's a mid comic. It's like
no, it's not a mid comic. It's an incompetent comic. See, a mid comic is a Marvel comic or a DC comic that's just not very good. It's still way better than ISOM. ISOM is incompetent. There is no story there. The art is non-existent because it's built of computer 3D assets. It is not a mid comic. It's not just okay. It's completely like it's. You know,
there's something they said though. He's a black guy making a comic. Like that's the reason people hate.
I can't believe Metokur just
quit
said
bringing
that.
up people's race or sex when they make a comic. When you buy a comic, it's paper. It's paper and whatever they put on it. Their fucking race or sex means nothing. It's like, and I know that's the thing. They're like, oh, they just hate it because he's a black guy making a comic. No.
No, I mean, it's just Metokur saying that is amazing. That's fantastic, dude. And I think this is like the prevalent. I think he's reading Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms has this attitude right now.
You're talking to a guy who goes on shit like Manga Kakalot and all these other fucking manga sites, and they read manhwa. Do you know how many manhwa and manga artists use fucking assets to build up cities or fucking streets or characters when they're doing a story that's fucking 800 pages?
Yeah,
it's not 800 pages, Jim. It's 100 pages that he was paid $3.7 million to produce. And no, we don't fucking do that in the United States of America. We don't do that here. If that happens in this culture, in the American culture, American comic books, and people find out about it, you get ridiculed. And these are people who are making $100, $200, $300 a page. This guy had $3.7 million to invest in making a comic book that was meant to topple the mainstream. You understand? Stop talking about mediocre product from Japan that you're used to and accustomed to seeing, and how those people over there that get paid 3 cents and a grain of rice a day to draw, that they use 3D assets. Of course they do. Dog shit.
But
this guy had every opportunity to make the most, and was obligated to make one of the most incredible comic books in the indie comic sphere of the last 20 years. He had the money to do that. And he didn't do it. He phoned it in. It's incompetent. It's trash. The guy who he hired clearly barely even put a pen to paper. Did you see? Just put down like a 3D fucking SketchUp like figure, and then throw a couple of little sketch lines on it for texture. And even the texture lines were shit. And Jim's like, I don't understand why that's a problem. You don't understand why that's a problem, Jim? It's embarrassing, dude.
Because it's horrible.
It isn't good.
Bad. It's not good. It's, if you could, honestly, you could make, well, okay. So the guy you hired to do Elephant, like his art is just cut and paste pictures of ISOM and Alpha Core with a hilarious script behind it. It's not the cutting and pasting and the 3D assets that's the problem. It's that the product is terrible. And then we say, okay, why is it terrible? It's because there was no artistry put into this at any point. At the script level, at the artistry level, at the layout level, which you went through, like at no point was any work put into this. That's why it's a problem. That's why we're harping on the 3D stuff. Because you can say, look, there's a guy floating on a couch. That's why. It's totally lifeless.
You had you made every promise. Every promise was made to this audience who invested way too much money. $35 for a comic book is a lot. It's way too much. $35 that they invested into this comic book, and nobody even tried. Nobody.
I'm gonna
tried
go
to
on
make
a limb
good.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say whatever manga he's talking about that uses 3D assets, it doesn't look like a 3D asset. Like,
or
by
they
the time
made the
they're done
3D
with
assets for that manga.
Yeah,
That could be too.
yeah. So that they're trying to make it look like it's drawn. Like Isom, it literally looked like, let me just paste it in and color it. You know, there was no drawing done on top of it.
All right, hold on a second. Metokur, come on my show. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. Come on my show. We'll talk this out.
So, like, that doesn't. I don't give a shit about that. I've heard that as a criticism. Like, oh, he used assets. Well, video game developers use fucking assets
Exactly.
too.
Like,
you have to read it.
Yeah, I play shit with the asset flips that you're like, whatever.
Well, there was this whole thing with the church that was suing him because they were named Isom as well.
That was funny, I have to admit.
And then we were supposed to.
And by the way, yeah, the church sued him, and then he for like something that was so big. Here's the thing that people forget. When Isom first came out, when it was first announced, I mean, everybody said, why is it called Isom? And so everybody did Google searches on Isom. And you know what came up? The ministry.
Church. Yeah.
The church. And everybody said, oh, he's got a cross on his belt. This must be a collaboration with that ministry. That's the whole thing. And everybody was saying that. And then, believe it or not, the ministry kind of was like, I think people are under the same impression. They do Google searches under their own name all the time. Isom, what is this? What the hell is this? Following him, watching him. He's very public. He's very vocal. He's calling people the N-word. He's using the F-word. He's using the Lord's name in vain.
He's hiring Satanists.
He's hiring the Piss Sisters.
I mean, there's some irony in this, right?
Yes!
Like the church has an issue, and then he's hiring the Saska sisters.
And after saying we're good Christian men and everything. Yeah. Anyway,
they're
like
fake
of
Christians.
course.
Meanwhile, here's the incest sisters.
Right. So meanwhile, like, you know, of course they're following him and they're getting ready. They're preparing a suit. And he flips that around. This is another reason why maybe, I'm not saying you should hate Eric July, but if you want to hate Eric July, this might be a good reason to do that. He took the opportunity of his lawsuit, his perfectly, like that was on its way, no matter what, that was going to happen. He took that opportunity to use that against his critics. He blamed you and Vito for that. And he said he had proof. He said he had proof that you guys, he had receipts that he never showed. He used weasel words, so he didn't use your name. He said that fat guy, and then you know, Buster Baxter. So he didn't ever have to say. He didn't ever have to stand behind his words. He just turned his fans against his critics.
Well, he turns these celebrities against us too. Like the Quartering looked like a total fucking idiot with his anything you need, Eric. Like, dude, you made all these e-celebs who are treating you with kids' gloves and want to bite onto your cloud and want to like support this parallel economy. You made them all look really fucking stupid.
I think he knows it now too.
I think he does too.
I actually understand them though. Like, here's a guy that's a YouTuber that basically just made millions of dollars off a bad comic. Well, we want that to work because we can make a bad comic and make millions of dollars. So support Eric. I mean, it makes sense, like why a lot of people support him.
Well, I mean, I supported him because it's like, well, I told my dad read it and he said, this is shit, son. I said, Dad, this needs to work because this is more audience coming into the independent comic scene. You know, we want to, sure, they're going to start out with his book, but we want them to kind of churn around and then come to Comicsgate. We want more people buying indie comics. So initially I was supportive, but this poison about his behavior and his not being able to accept criticism, pushing back against his critics, and then telling me that I needed to fall into line or else there would be consequences. Was too much. It was just too much. I had to get away from him. It was really important that I did. And that's how TRASHCAST was born. All right, back to Metokur.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
To jump on the side of this church that was suing him or something.
Well, they settled that. Right?
Yeah,
the church was like, yeah, it's completely two different things. We're fine.
No, that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Come on. What the fuck kind of stupid comment is that? The church said, oh, it's two different things. We're fine. Whoops, never mind. We just burned 30 grand for no reason. RB. That's what happened, Jim? Is that really what you fucking think?
The church met with him and said, we don't want to hurt you, but we're going to have to make it clear that you do not infringe on our trademark. And they've made him do things. They've made him add a little tagline separating themselves from his stupid comic and his behavior. And we don't know fully yet. We're going to see ISOM number 3. I think they might have enforced when he talks about ISOM, it has to be I and then lowercase SOM. It used to be all caps, which ended up looking like the church, the ministry. We're going to see whatever it is, but they're making him make some changes. All right.
Because his ancestor, his great grandpa or something was ISO.
Yeah,
right?
that's the other thing I don't get. So why go piss on his grandpa's grave?
Yeah, right.
I don't.
Why? Because you're laughing at it.
It never happened. Nobody pissed on anyone's grave. Somebody took a picture of it, and there looked like there was a little morning dew in one single corner of the top of the grave, and the story was invented that somebody urinated on the grave. Don't you think somebody would have taken a picture of themselves doing that?
Because Eric's suggestion that he had a right to the ISOM name over the trademark of the Christian ministry because his great-great-great-great-grandpappy was named ISOM was stupid and childish. And because he overreacts to everything, somebody took it upon themselves to go take a picture of a bunny stuffed animal at the grave and clean it off. And sure as shit, he totally lost his mind about it. I can't believe you don't understand why this is funny, Metokur. This is simple, dish it out but can't take it rules. He's been bitching about Marvel for a decade, saying totally outrageous stuff, and his comic gets a tiny bit of criticism. He loses his mind. This is internet trolling 101, man. Come on.
I don't understand this.
He doesn't like the comic.
So he goes to this guy's ancestor's grave. I mean, we're all pretty edgy here, but there's some sort of a line. There has to be somewhere where it's this is this guy's
You dressed up as Ralph's
grave.
dead dad, PPP. You did a whole stream dressed up as Ralph's dead father, and you think there's a line going to a guy who died in the 20s? Give me a fucking break. The concern trolling on this gentleman. Oh.
Wow, dude.
If the fuck is going on here? And then Dick Masterson's defending Buddy going to the grave and being like, "You deserve this," and then Riley's having to go to the guy's office.
The thing is, I don't get it. This is what I'm saying. Is I've heard all the shit that's been going on because I've read up on it finally, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. What the fuck started it? What did the guy do to deserve any of it? What he's got a standoffish personality. He's successful. What?
No, he is well liked.
You dish it out and can't take it
in the community.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he's a guy who says monetize your haters, and he's a guy who is completely incapable of receiving criticism at all. That's how all of this started. Was look, he made a lot of grandiose claims about what his book was going to be, and when he received one single fraction of the criticism that he's built his career dishing out, he melted down into several amusing ways. And Metokur, if you were actually watching this and following this, you'd be on our side. You would think this was funny.
You'd get it. Yeah.
But I think you're reading Cliff Notes off of Kiwi Farms, and that's unfortunate because this is right up your alley.
When this started, when Vito first started talking about doing Super Killer, and I think Tony from Hack the Movies, another guy, called in and was busting his balls. That's when I learned about Eric July, because I think I asked him, well, who's the most successful? If you're doing a comic, who's the most successful indie comic there is? And he said Eric July, and he started saying the comic's not any good, all the basic stuff that now is all out there. And Vito didn't want people to look at ISOM and think that's what indie comics were, because it's not any good, and then they'll get a bad taste in their mouth about indie comics. When he said that on our show, I, myself, and the rest of the audience just ripped on him for being jealous for a year. We were gaslighting him, saying that it's obvious he's just jealous of a black guy, and he's just racist. His comic will never do any. He'll never be any good. He's no good. Yeah, it's because we all kind of knew that. He's probably right, but this is funnier because this will make him react and get more and more angry. And it wasn't until Nina Infinity told me that he was jealous that I thought, okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to let a woman say, I mean, we all, we all know that Vito's probably right. We're just ripping on him. Like, what do you mean? And that's when, like, that's what started this schism between, like, well, yeah, I mean, we all kind of know we all get Vito, but I mean, we're just not going to say anything because it's funnier to mess with him. If we would have known for a second Eric would have treated this the way he has, we would have ripped on him right away. Like, we never would have thought being honest about it would get this kind of reaction.
I was stunned by it. I was absolutely stunned by, his reaction to all of this. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, and I tried to talk to him in private, like, no, those are good notes, dude. Like, that what Dick is saying. No, they're not good notes. He's retarded. Is what I got in response to that. I'm like, that is a dead end, dude. I mean, somebody's actually reading the book, which is weird, and they're actually giving you notes. Like, nobody's read this book, and they're giving you good notes on how to improve the story and stuff, and you're rejecting it. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. I'm sorry. That's when I kind of fell off the train a little bit there. So
there, and he, like, I guess, was super successful, and then
I mean, I think it drives engagement. I think there was a lot of engagement because he has a lot of fans that get pissed off when you criticize him. So they're like engagement farming these people.
Let me put it this way. Okay, my wife is massively racist. Way more than I am.
Let's go.
Like, crazy racist.
Right.
And,
JK.
she read up on this too. And she's like, I don't fucking get it. Why am I not supposed to like him?
Yeah.
She doesn't get it either. She's left baffled as to why, because he made money and he fulfilled his fucking promises.
That's why,
I was throwing your wife
Ashton, may we watch this video?
Oh, no. Hey, honey, come down. I'm in an argument online. Honey, can you tell me if this is funny? Check Twitter for, honey, baby. What do you think? This? Should I be arguing with this guy? You don't know.
We watched, I think, 10 minutes. I'm like, why do we hate Eric? And I don't get it. And then Ashton was like, I think he's black and successful, I guess. And I don't even think it's that, though, to be honest. I think it's just
easy drama for these people. I just don't know how it even starts.
You guys had a whole episode on Ralph eating a sandwich. What the fuck are you talking about? Easy drama. Oh, my God. Oh, everybody shut it down. It's not funny. None of this is funny. A multi-millionaire threatening to shoot Riley for taping money to his door. That's not funny at all.
So wait a second. Yeah, that happened after. So first was the Flashcast, wasn't it? Flashcast happened first, and then he shut down Riley.
Yeah.
He kind of melted down from there. Like, Riley was just a guy who, Eric said, if you want to talk shit to me, you want to criticize me, then why don't you pull up? Which was a threat. I mean, that we looked it up. That means, come and fight me.
Yeah.
Riley said,
or come confront me at least.
Yeah. Come confront me face to face.
Say it's my face.
And then he started talking about how everybody's fat. Everybody's fat, too fat. Stop being fat. And Riley said he was going to get in shape so that he could pull up and clip his shoulder hair off, which is funny also because Riley has shoulder hair. So he invented something called the Rippaverse.
Yeah.
Very clever parody.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Eric July shut him down. He shut down. He
flagged him.
He flagged him. Flagged him. Which again, Metokur. Do you remember? I mean, I know I'm old, but some of you remember Mundane Matt, right? I mean, you remember that whole thing?
He got laughed off the internet because of false flagging Dame Pesos.
So, right. So that's what he did. And he basically took this guy down. So Riley shows up at his warehouse. He's driving around. He finds his warehouse and he goes and tapes Super Chat money after Eric July ignored his Super Chats on the internet.
Yeah.
And Eric threatened to murder him. He called his
multiple times. He called the police and then said, I'm going to murder him, and then insisted on going on Nick Rekieta's show to describe this bizarre private public industrial park center with 6 driveways and 20 gates and snipers and security, and then concluded that interview by confessing to charity fraud, which was baffling, against the advice of an attorney.
Right.
Oh, it was great. Metokur, come on this show. What are you doing?
I just have never been that invested in it. And so, like, I haven't looked into
in your chat said he started flagging. Is that what started this? Did
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Yes.
surprised if that was the case, but I haven't heard that.
Many
until
people.
now.
Well, like, that's the thing. Like, nobody lays it out, right? This is always a problem. Like, I come across it and I hear all this crazy shit about, like, pissing on gravestones and, like, going after the guy. And then, but nobody, like, is like, oh, this is why it started. So
okay, so Metokur's willing to listen. He hasn't made up his mind.
Thank God.
Yeah, he's like, nobody's laying it out. See, as soon as he hears from the chat that somebody flagged, that Eric flagged somebody,
he knows the flagging is a red flag.
That's right.
Was he flagging people? Is that what started it, or is that just bullshit?
Frantically looking up.
I mean,
come on, guys.
The thing is, though,
give me the research.
Like, everybody involved in this, I think, is like flagging and doing
no
bullshit.
Wrong.
Because unfortunately, like,
why do you make that shit up? PPP. You don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's flagging anybody here on this side. Nobody at all. Eric is. Eric and his crew are flagging their critics. And DMCA striking businesses and things that are just parodying him. Come on now, nobody's doing that here.
That's the way, like, the internet is now.
No, it
where
isn't.
Pretty much everybody is doing all this report.
You guys
bullshit.
do it. You guys fucking do this shit. That's why you think everybody's doing it. You two do it. Fucking Muhammad Ali over here in his boxing robes and his coke fiend, who's sober for 94 days and counting.
Oh, shit. All right, hold on. We're about to go to Metokur talking about you and Vito. Let me see. Drexel's grooming. All right, here we go.
All the fucking time. Like, Dick Masterson is one that's guilty of it as well.
Yeah.
When he did the campaign against Pod Awful's Patreon.
No.
Vito's always going for people to make a platform.
Well, Vito, yes. Now, Vito made a big mistake by going after, it was a joke, but trying to get YouTube's attention over
yeah, that was bad.
Alex Jones' appearance.
I read him the Riot Act every week for like 3 weeks. I don't know what more you can do with that guy. I think he learned his lesson. I fucking hope so. The other guy that they're talking about that they always blame me for made a fake Patreon of a comedian who worked for my show and then was harvesting the names of people who subscribed to it. So he got banned from Patreon. That he got himself banned and hard. Had nothing to do with me.
There's a fucking tweet. If somebody has an archive of this, God, I'd love it. It was Masterson responding to Porcelain after Porcelain had lost, like, his Patreon or, like, a channel or something. And like, Dick came out with this weird defense saying, oh, that's freedom of speech. They're exercising their corporate freedom of speech by banning you.
Oh, you better take that little gay voice off my quote, Jim. That was a response to your debate with Nick Fuentes, saying that, yes, technically, flagging is freedom of speech. It's immoral. It's wrong. But the people who don't have accounts don't care about that. If you're going to call them a pedophile, they're going to flag you. Both of you are engaging in very immoral free speech. It's not a pretty sight, but it's not a pretty battle, but that's what'll happen. It was not a justification of Porcelain losing his channel. I love Porcelain. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I love Porcelain too. Shout out Porcelain.
He's great. He got all pissed at me because I said no one's gonna care that Ali Alexander was sexting teenage boys, and nobody does. That's my fault.
Oh, and then also speaking about Dick Masterson and Vito, who Vito also.
Well, Vito's the biggest snitch of all time. So if it's that Eric July was flagging, like, holy shit.
Yeah, fucking when I went to my fight to fight Salt Poppy, fucking Vito found an old video of when someone on my show was saying the N-word and I was laughing, and he added KSI,
all the journalists that were in London
all week,
and we had journalists come up to us at the event and ask us about this shit.
Vito's a piece of shit.
You fucking liar! The only thing you got asked at that fight is your brain still intact, Warski? Are you okay to walk home after getting your ass kicked in 12 seconds? You didn't get asked by any fucking journalist about the N-word.
They're like, you guys seem like cool guys. What's all this bullshit? And we're like, well, this is Vito the pedophile, and they're like, oh, we understand. Yeah. So like it's.
I don't know. The other thing I found a little weird. It's not going to make me any friends. But the other thing I found a little weird. Eric July delivered on his product. Vito hasn't done his comic yet.
I know.
And Nick Requena hasn't sent out his 5,000 gifts to his locals yet either.
I know. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that
yes,
goes?
It's hilarious.
That it's
he deserves more shit for it. Yes, crack the whip on his ass. I do every fucking week. It makes me look bad. Vito's fucking lateness makes me look bad. Because I said you gotta support this. It's gonna be great. It's Vito, and he's fucking late. Every second that ticks by is shame on my soul. I can't shake it.
He can't help it. He's just the writer, man. Listen, I read the book. I read Super Killer. It's great. It really is fucking good. Problem is, he's stuck with an artist, and we artists take time. Like you write a book all day long, getting it drawn is a whole different situation, especially when you've hired an artist and it's not you that's doing it. So it's not Vito's fault. Like Vito's just sitting there waiting for this guy to get off his ass and finish the book, but he sent me over everything. He laid the whole book out himself. So I've read like half of it's finished with the artist when I read it. And then the other half of it was him hand drawing little stick figures and everything with the word balloons in there. So I effectively read the whole thing. And it's really good. So, I mean, I got to say that it's actually good. I was hoping it wasn't good, but it was really good. So what are you going to do? Wait for quality.
It's always like, you're not fulfilling this or this or this. And then when it's their time to deliver a product, they fuck it up way worse. And then, no accountability on that.
I don't think anyone really cares about
Red got out Wilshire Boulevard. He got those draft copies out.
He did get those draft copies out. We need Wilshire Boulevard. Joey's King tour for 5. Hey, Jim, since you just jade me on your Ralph stream, I'll ask again. What do you think of Drexel bragging about being a child groomer?
All right, I don't want to get into Drexel here. Drexel's not a part of this show.
These guys are calling everyone groomers and pedophiles, and they're shocked when their own quotes of the N-word get sent to journalists. Is that the level that they're at? I can't believe this pedophile sent these things to this journal. Is he really a pedophile? No, it's just something we say, because we don't like him.
They cut together your issue with Ice on Flying versus Yellow Flashing.
Yeah.
See, the problem with it when you watch that video, the whole thing, is that there's so much air in between, like, the points that are being made that, like, it's hard to really follow how stupid that was.
And it was really stupid.
It was.
He can fly, right? I don't know. I saw it. Like, did you guys not read it? And if you didn't read it and it didn't leave a lasting impression, none of you see a problem with this shit. That's the other thing that I don't think Metokur realizes. It wasn't just Eric July getting exposed as a fraud, Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing. It was the entire criticism, like criticizing Hollywood griftosphere. Like all of these guys got exposed as not reading it and shilling this shit to their fans and not being able to take the criticism that they should be recommending good things. It was like an apocalypse of dishing it out but can't take it, caused by one review. Very funny.
One single review caused that. It was unreal.